Tony Dungy from Football Night in America. Tony, let me start with the pass interference call, the flag that was picked up in the Lions game. Now, if you were Jim Caldwell, how upset would you be with that call and the fact the flag was picked up?
Well, you're upset at the call, but I know Jim, and I know he's going to be more worried about the things he can control, like the 10-yard punt and the 2 holding penalties that kept the drive going, and then, Calvin Johnson jumping offside. So things that they made some mistakes too, but I've never seen a situation like that where you have the conference and then the flag gets picked up after they announce the penalty. I just don't see how that could happen. So you're very frustrated. And then the fact that you look at it on the replay, and it clearly is pass interference, and there's no way it should have been picked up.
Well, this one I don't understand. If you're going to let the officials confer, why not let them actually review it with the tape? If you're going to spend the time to do it, then do it right, or don't do it at all.
I'm not a big fan of instant replay anyway. I think you need to call the game as you see it. But replay has come into it. You see the pictures. Everybody's got the Jumbotron. And you're right. If you are going to review it, you should get it right. I have a bigger problem, though, with the officiating in the playoffs anyway. And I said it when I was on the competition committee for years. It shouldn't be the 8th or 9th or 10th best official and rotate all these guys through the playoffs. You should have your best officials officiate. There's only 4 games every weekend. You should have your top 4 officiating groups officiating these games. They mean too much. Well,
yeah, I don't want to have an all-star team there. I want to have the team that you think is the best team as far as these officials go. And I think that happened yesterday, that where the officials would normally say, I'll go to my buddy here, you're going to people you haven't worked with. And I thought that worked against the NFL. Plus, what's the rule? Des Bryant's on the field without a helmet arguing that, and nothing is called there either.
To me, that was worse than the pass interference call. You can debate the pass interference call. The helmet rule is plain. And for an official not to have the courage to call that, Des Bryant is not on the field at the time. He's an offensive player. He's not coming out. There's no reason he's out there other than to argue the call with no helmet on. Every official should have thrown a flag at that point. And so at the very least, it's another 15-yard penalty. And there's no way you can justify not calling that.
Let's look at the teams that advanced. We'll start with the Cowboys and the fact that they now go to Lambeau. Your thoughts about the Cowboys and their chances there?
I was really impressed with the way they fought back. They didn't fold up after they got down 14. But here's the tough thing going to Lambeau. Their defense thrives on takeaways, and that's how they stopped Detroit, and that's how they flourished. And they've done a great job with it. But you're playing a team that doesn't turn the ball over in Lambeau. So it's going to be very tough to stop Aaron Rodgers because you're not going to get those interceptions and the takeaways. So Tony Romo, offensively, you got to run DeMarco Murray, you've got to eat up the clock, and you've got to score points. There's going to be a lot of pressure on that offense, but it should be a great game.
Tony Dungy from Football Night in America joining us, Dan Patrick Show. You like Carolina a lot more than I thought going to Seattle with that game plan, that style.
Of everybody, Dallas beat them up there, but I think it would be more difficult this time the way Seattle's playing. Detroit, anybody that could go there, I think Carolina has the best shot because they run the football. Jonathan Stewart, you can control the time. Cam can make some plays. I'm not saying they're going to win, but they have the formula to go up there and play. It's going to be much more interesting than people think. The last 3 times these teams have played, it's been one-score games. Seattle doesn't score a lot of points against them. Now, Carolina's got to deal with all the noise and everything that goes with playing there, but they have the formula to play them a competitive game.
So do the Ravens going to New England. I imagine New England watching that game against the Steelers thinking, oh, gosh, anybody but the Ravens coming to town.
Well, as you know, Rodney, who has a pretty good pulse on the Patriots, is the one team that if he knows they don't want to play is the Ravens because of the style of play. They've got guys who can rush the passer. John Harbaugh has his team believing they can win on the road, and that's the big thing going to New England. You have to believe you can win, and the Ravens have that. So, again, not saying they're going to win, but they have the formula to play a competitive game up there.
John Harbaugh says Joe Flacco is the best quarterback in football.
Well, John Harbaugh's biased. Joe Flacco's good. I promise you, he's not the best quarterback in football.
Okay, but what about playoff quarterback? Because, look, Flacco during the regular season is not a fantasy guy. He's not going to put up big numbers. But in the postseason, there's something about Joe Flacco, whether it's at home or on the road, that you have to acknowledge.
He has done a good job, Dan, but you give anybody, am I taking Joe Flacco or Aaron Rodgers in a playoff game? I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. And I take Tom Brady. I'm taking Peyton Manning. And, hey, I can't take anything away from Joe Flacco. But, no, I don't think there's anybody in their right mind that's taking him over Brady in a playoff game.
Peyton Manning, something's up here, Tony, because C.J. Anderson has been great. They've changed their game plan, and it feels like it's almost out of necessity than design here. Is there something more to Peyton Manning not being healthy here and his arm, or what do you think?
I don't think it's his arm. It could be the thigh. It could be just the season taking a toll. I don't know. I think you're going to see the real Peyton Manning, whatever that is, this weekend. They're going to need it. They've gotten through some of these games and running the ball, and that's great to be more balanced. But now you get down to the final 8, final 4 Super Bowl, they're going to have to throw to win. And C.J. Anderson is giving them a big threat. But you're going to know if something's wrong with Peyton Manning after this weekend's game.
Any thoughts, memories of Stuart Scott before I let you go?
Yeah, that's the bummer. Stuart, I enjoyed watching him. I got to meet him a couple times, and he brought something different to the game. He was, like a Barry Sanders who came in and he said, "Wow, we haven't seen this before," and it was neat. It was refreshing, and I think he did it without thinking that he was anything special. And to me, that's the way to do it. So yeah, I loved watching Stuart. We're gonna miss him.
Safe travels. I'll see you in Foxborough. And, you and Rodney, you live in the South here. You guys got to be ready for Foxborough on Saturday.
Man, I'm getting my gloves, long underwear, everything. It's going to be tough, but we're going to have some fun.
Okay, now we have to decide if we're all going gloves or hats. Like, everybody's got to go in doing the same thing here. Scarves,
I'm
hats,
sorry,
gloves.
Dan,
what?
But you got to have a hat. There's no way my bald head can handle it out there. So we got to get you a nice hat so you can look fly.
Well, wait a minute. Am I going to have a lid?
We got to have something. We're going to make you look good, but you got to have some headwear so I can keep this bald head warm.
All right, I'll see you. See you in a couple of days.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, man. It's Tony Dungy, Football Night in America.